the two women go to talk to each other, Shanae and Elizabeth.
This is where it really gets away from Shanae.
It really does. It really does. They're talking, and Shanae's like, I'm upset with you. You know, you're ignoring me to my face. And she referenced this conversation that she had with, NC was involved as well, and that Elizabeth was ignoring her. And Elizabeth then explains, like, I wasn't ignoring you. Like, I wasn't purposely looking at you, but, you know, I have some problems processing, like, auditory inputs. Like, I have ADHD. Like, I was listening to what NC was saying. I wasn't purposely, like, cutting you out or anything. Does not really register with Shanae at all. She's like, no, but you were ignoring me. Like, that was me. And she's like, no, you're not hearing what I'm saying. We think they come to some kind of agreement. They go back to the group, and Clayton gives the group date rose to Sarah, and they all sit there, and then they start going back and forth. Elizabeth and Shanae, again, they're talking to each other, and Shanae basically tells the entire group about the ADHD thing. And after that, everyone was like, that's not, even Cassidy, I noticed, yep. They were like, you should apologize, like, for that. Like, come on. And Cassidy was like, yeah, I mean, even you pushed it a little too far.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Shanae just wouldn't give it up about the ADHD thing. Like, Elizabeth explaining that she had ADHD could have just been like, Shanae could have just been like, all right, I understand. Boom, let's move on from this. She held on to that so tightly, and then started saying that she had ADHD, in which she just started throwing out of nowhere. And I think because ADHD is the thing that people just like throw out of nowhere, right? They're like, everyone's like, I have ADHD. It's like, no, it's a very real thing, and you can't just because it's not as serious as other mental health things, or
right.
But it's even saying that alone, it is a
ADHD
scale, right?
Is such a scale.
People don't make it out to seem as serious is what I meant.
Yeah.
Is that she thought it was okay to like make fun of her for it, or tell her that she doesn't believe her for it.
She said fucking little kids have ADHD.
Yeah, like that.
You're just using this as an excuse. Like,
it's like,
oh, it just goes away.
Like, no, it's such a real thing from when you're a kid to adults. I mean, like, it actually impairs people's lives. Yeah, it really does.
And at a certain point, Shanae just couldn't reel it in, and to the point where I think she referenced it so many times that she was just like, this is my angle, so now I'm gonna just run with it. It really got away from her in the worst way possible. She came out looking about as bad as you can look.
Yeah, it really was.
For no reason, with this little beef with Elizabeth. No reason,
and then really like doubling down on the ADHD.
No reason to question somebody like that. They say they have something going on with them. Why do you got to question it? It's so wrong to be like, no, you don't actually have that. Like, have no idea. Why would she just say that?
Because I think like Shanae took it so far that I think she was like, I'm fucking stuck now.
Yeah.
Like, I can't backtrack on any of these things that I'm doing. And Elizabeth just gave me like a very valid reason, and now like, I'm just going to have to double down. Like, she just looked like such a jerk.
Also, since we're talking about it in terms of The Bachelor, such a terrible quality to have in a significant other as well, right? Say Clayton had something wrong with him, or some sort of thing going on that he wanted to talk about seriously with Shanae. Where's she going to be like, no, I don't believe you? Like, that's just a terrible quality to have in yourself.
Not great.
And then we close. We're on this to be continued, and we close on Cassidy once again bragging. She's confident. She's feeling good about her time with Clayton. Sierra goes to Clayton. She's like, he needs to know who Cassie really is. She's a snake, this whole thing. And so we watched the clip of Cassidy and Sierra talking, which was rare. I feel like we normally don't see that.
Not only did we get the clip, but it was subtitled.
Yeah, totally subtitled. And it's like, she's talking about this fuck buddy that she has, that he FaceTimed her while she was at the hotel. She told him she was about to leave for filming a show, couldn't tell him what for. And he was like, oh, we'll watch when you come back. And he's younger. She also mentioned that as well. and like, this was the last part. Said, oh my God, on that FaceTime, he was like, well, whatever the show is you're on, like, I can't wait for you to get back. Let's watch it together. And so Sierra takes that story to Clayton, that info to Clayton.
And then we see Clayton ask if he can take back a rose, in which we have never seen before.
Nope.
Amazing.
And this is all very exciting. I'm into the season.
So we had a lengthy discussion last night about whether that's a justified reason for Clayton to take that rose back. And I would be interested to hear what you have to say, because we're talking about a situation.
Cutting Sims?
Yeah, it was. So we were talking about, because obviously if someone shows up and they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend when they show up, that is grounds for taking back a rose or whatever. Where is the line with friends with benefits, as Cassidy referred to it? Like, is that okay to have before you come on the show or not? Is that a reason to take the rose away, to send someone home? What are your thoughts on that, Rhea?
I am so confused about that, because it's like, I feel like before you go on this show, you should cut off all ties with people you have any romantic relationships with.
Sure.
In case, because a friends with benefits only means so much, right?
Yeah.
People are hooking up. They have feelings for each other in some aspect, whether you want to label it friends with benefits or not.
Yeah.
So I feel like you should cut off all romantic ties, because there is a chance that you may end up with The Bachelor.
Right.
And if you don't think there's an actual chance that you may end up with The Bachelor, what's the point of going on the show? In which then turns into the discussion that people just go on because they want to be famous at this point.
Correct.
So I think that if she did not cut off ties with him and she said, I'll be back, bad. Can't be having that. If she had it up until the point and then cut it off, what are you supposed to do about that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's about whether or not she cut it off, in my opinion, before she left or not.
And the other conclusion that we came to was that you can't be telling people about it.
No, what an idiot.
Yeah, that's exactly. Like,
can't-
it's like, I bet you there are so many, I'm sure there are so many contestants who like are dating or seeing people before they go on the show, and then they find out that they're going on the show, and whether they tie up those loose ends or not, you can definitely go on the show and make it work. You just can't be telling other people on the show,
These people are
especially The
idiots.
Bachelor. You can't be telling other girls like, oh, I was seeing this guy. Like, are you kidding
That's
me?
getting back to him in a millisecond.
I see, though, why people get fooled into this, right?
Yeah.
You got no connection to the outside world. You don't have
Yeah.
phones. You don't have TV. All you have to do is talk, right? So you're laying in bed. It's like slumber party vibes. You guys start talking about the past people you dated. You just start talking about life in general. I could see myself being like, you guys want to know something? And then all of a sudden, I find myself in that situation.
Yeah.
So I could see it's just a very dumb thing to do.
Yep.
Like, you have to remind yourself before you go in there, like, I can't really trust anybody until after this show is over. Right? Like, you can't just automatically assume that these girls are going to be your besties when they're competing for the same man as you.
Right. And I will say that I don't know how bothered Cassidy will be about, like, she doesn't seem like the type, she seems like she was bragging and she would be kind of into bragging.
She's going to blow this up for her own advantage 100%, like on social media when we see this whole all play out in 2 weeks because of playoffs. We don't have an episode next week. So it's definitely going to be discussed. It's going to be discussed a lot. She's probably going to try and leverage it to get on Paradise. Not shocking at all. She clearly wants to be a reality TV gal or quote unquote influencer, if that's what she wants to call it. But yeah, it's like you can compare it to having a boyfriend or girlfriend or like ending things right before or whatever. The other tough part for me is too, which I think like for The Bachelor is where it is a problem, is when you hear about the quote unquote plans after the show.
Yeah.
Right? Like if it's like, oh, I was seeing someone, but it's not that serious. Like, I swear, like, I'm here for you, like, whatever. But when the story is like, yeah, he said like he can't wait to see her when she gets back and they can watch the show together.
Because she knows what show she's going on.
Yeah, of course. Exactly.
Right.
That's bad.
And then like that is going to come off to the guy who's the Bachelor like, oh, she doesn't give a fuck about me. She's ready to be on TV and go back with this dude and watch her episode.
Yeah, and as the Bachelor, you have no idea who this dude is or anything.
Exactly.
You start getting
You have
jealous
no
about
idea.
that.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you have to worry about a guy with a girl you're not even in a relationship with.
Yeah.
It's already adding drama.
And this is also Clayton, like, we're talking the Bachelor, Bachelorette. They are so in their own heads that, like, all these women or men have to be here for me.
Yeah.
That you get a little inkling that someone isn't. It's a hit to the ego. You want them gone immediately. You're
For
like,
sure.
oh, fuck this person. Like, oh, you're gone.
And also viewing it from the Bachelor's shoes, you look at that situation, you say, oh, wait, I've got 27, 26 other girls who actually are here
Right.
for me. I don't have to deal with that.
Yep.
So it makes it an easy way to, Hopefully, I hope he takes back the rose because that'll be an incredible moment.
Yeah, well.
First time, crowd's going to go wild.
The trailer looks, the preview looked insane because she's like wagging that rose around. She's like, I got a rose.
Yes, and he's just going to come snatch it. What a moment that's going to be if it happens. I hope that it does.
I really hope it does. I really hope it does. And I'm excited to see how Jesse Palmer handles that because they ended on like a moment of Jesse Palmer being like, I don't fucking know the answer to that.
I'm new here.
I stopped watching. I don't know what the rules are.
I'm such a big Jesse Palmer fan. Each week he gets better and better. He is so professional and he's got the host abilities.
Yeah.
But also he seems so new to it, which he is, that he gets surprised by things like this, just like we do. Like, I don't know what happens.
I don't know.
Let's find out.
We're gonna find out. Why don't you try it and let's see what happens.
Right.